Unit 32 and 34. I would suggest you open up your book for this first part because it'll tell us some of these formulas that we're going to write down. So the first one is for drop. Drop equals the grade multiplied by the run. For our note here, your grade is always measured in inches per foot. So I'm going to put inches per foot. So for example, if I have an 1/8 inch per foot grade, that means I'm either dropping or rising my pipe an 1/8 inch for every foot. And we're multiplying by our run. Our run is usually measured in feet. So just to kind of show you really quick what happens if you multiply inch per foot by foot, the feet will cancel each other out. Cancel out, cancel out. And so when you get your answer for the drop, it'll just be in inches. Okay, the next thing, the grade. The grade equals the drop divided by the run. The note for this one is probably the most important. Because we measured grade in inch per foot, the drop must be in inches and the run must be in feet. That being said, the construction calculator does not know how to divide inches by feet. It ends up converting them into the same units, and so you're going to get the wrong answer. So just to show you a quick example, I'm going to go to the top of the page. Let's say that my drop was 2 inches and my run was 8 feet. If I was to calculate this grade, I would literally, in my calculator, just type 2 divide 8. I wouldn't type inches, I wouldn't type feet, and then when I get my answer, it's going to say 1/4 or 0.25, and I know that that's inch per foot. So that would be 1/4 inch per foot. So if you want to write that down, I would suggest it. Do not type both units in calculator. Otherwise, it'll mess it up. All right. Now, we have another formula for drop. We use this formula when we're not given the actual grade. What you do is you use the percent grade multiplied by the run, all divided by 100. The reason we're dividing by 100 is, I'm going to show you right here. If I had 2% grade, 2% is the same as 0.02. What you're doing is you're technically taking 2 and dividing by 100 to get 0.02. That's why we divide by 100, because we're converting a percentage to a decimal. So back to the question here, or the formula I should say. Multiply your percent grade times your run and then divide by 100. This will give you your answer in feet. So answer, this is our note. Answer will be in feet. Convert to inches. We talk about the drop being in inches just because it's usually smaller than a foot. So when you get your answer, you'll want to convert. Okay, last formula is for percent grade. You still do the drop divided by the run. It's just like the grade, but you're going to times by 100. The important thing on this is drop needs to be in, or I'm going to take that back. Drop and run must be in same units. So if you're solving for percent grade, the drop and the run either both have to be in inches or they both have to be in feet. You'll have to convert one of them and then times by 100. So there are your formulas. Okay, let's go ahead and do number 1 and number 2 together. So number 1, they tell us that the run is 9 feet and the percent grade is 1%. We need to find the drop and the grade. So number 1, to find the drop, I have 2 formulas to choose from. I'm going to have to choose the one that uses percent grade because that's what I know. So drop equals percent grade times by the run divided by 100. So that being said, it's going to equal the percent grade, which is 1, times by the run, which is 9 feet, all divided by 100. Well, 1 times 9 is 9 feet, and 9 feet divided by 100 is 0.09 feet. So yes, that is the answer, but we said in our note that answer will be in feet. We want to measure our drop in inches. So whenever you're converting feet to inches, I'm going to say convert to inches. On the construction calculator, it's really easy. You just hit 0.09 feet, convert inch. If you don't have that, then you multiply by 12. So 0.09 multiplied by 12. The reason we multiply by 12 is because there's 12 inches in a foot. So this would equal 1.08 inches, which I believe is like 1 1/16. So up in my table, 1.08 inches. Or 1 1/16, whatever way you read it. Okay, now to find the grade, we know that grade equals the drop divided by our run. I have the sniffles, I'm sitting outside. And our note says that they have to be in different units. Drop is in inches, run is in feet. So my drop we just found was 1.08 inches divided by my run, which is 9 feet. And we said make sure that you don't type these measurements or units into the calculator because it will mess it up. So I'm literally going to type 1.08 divided by 9, and it's going to give me a decimal. It gives me 0.12, and this is inches per foot. And then you technically in your calculator can hit convert inch and it will tell you what that is as a fraction. Or you can look in the back of your book at that first table. 0.12 converts to be 1/8 inch per foot. So our grade is 1/8 inch per foot. And this is actually pretty helpful to know. 1/8 inch per foot correlates to be 1%. 1/4 inch per foot correlates to be a 2% grade. So these might be something that are nice to just memorize and remember. I'm going to erase so we can do number 2 now. So erase. Okay. Number 2. The first thing we need to find is the drop. And we have 2 formulas for drop. This one we're going to do drop equals the grade multiplied by the run, because that's the information that we have. Our grade is 1 inch for every 4 feet, multiplied by our run, which is 72 feet. If I calculate this, what's going to happen is when I multiply the tops together, I'm going to get 1 times 72, which is 72, but then I have inches and feet. On the bottom, all I have left is 4 feet. What happens is the feet units cancel each other out, and so all we have left is 72 divided by 4, which is 18 inch. So we just found our drop. I'm writing it in the table is 18 inches. Now the last thing we got to find is the percent grade. And the formula we know is drop divided by run times by 100. But the drop and the run have to be measured in the same units. So currently, if I was to set this up, I know my drop is 18 inches divided by, I need to do my run, but it needs to be in the same units. Well, if you look up top, our run is 72 inches or feet. We need to convert that to inches. So 72 feet. Either do it in your construction calculator, or 72 times 12 is 864. So this is the same thing as 864 inches. So divided by 864 inches and then times by 100. So in my calculator, I'm not typing units. I'm just doing 18 divided by 864. And then whatever answer I get, I'm timesing that by 100. And that's giving me like 2.08, which is really, really close to just 2% grade. And that is Unit 32. Okay, so here are some questions to help you prepare for your competency test. These are literally questions right from the test. I changed some of the numbers, but some of them are still the same, so I would suggest you know how to do these. The first one says, how much drop is there in 25 feet? Letting that jet go by, sorry. And it says that of a run, 1/4 inch per foot of grade. So I kind of just highlighted some of the important things. But we know that we're looking for the drop. So how much drop? We have formulas for drop. We have grade times run, or we have percent grade times run divided by 100. So we're going to go grade, which is 1/4 inch per foot, times by the run, which is 25 feet. The feet will cancel each other out, remember? And so all we're left with on top is 1 inch times 25, which is 25 inch. We'll divide it by 4. If I take 25 and divide by 4, we get 6 1/4. So that's our drop. So all of these questions right here are just referring to those formulas that we just went over. So that's how you do those. These ones seem to be a little bit harder for everybody, so I'm going to go over a picture really fast with you. It tells us that the low end of a house drain has an elevation of 91.55. The grade is 1/8 inch per foot. So off to the side, I'm going to hurry and kind of draw us a little picture here. We have our low end, which is at 91.55, and if that's the low end, we know we're going up, and it is graded at 1/8 inch per foot. And so we're pretty much, we're trying to figure out this measurement, which is classified as our drop, and these measurements right here are given to us in the actual questions. So if you look, the question says, what is the elevation of a fitting that is 10 feet from the low point? So 10 feet is our run. So here's 10 feet. Alright, well, let's calculate our drop. Drop equals grade times run. So our grade is 1/8 inch per foot times our run, which is 10 feet. The feet cancel out, so all we're left with is 1 inch times 10, which is 10 inches, divided by 8. In my calculator, I'm going to convert, or divide, I should say. 10 divided by 8 is 1.25. So that is our drop in inches. Now we want to know problem. You're going to have them both in the same units. So I am going to convert this to feet. So if you have inches and you want to convert to feet, there's literally like a million jets flying around my house right now. Anyways, to convert inches to feet, you divide by 12. So if I take 1.25 and I divide by 12, I get 0.104-ish. I rounded that off. So what I'm really doing is adding 91.55 feet to 0.104 feet. 91.55 plus 0.104. And so my answer is 91.654 feet. And so that's the elevation of the high end. So make sure you're reading the question, because sometimes it'll give you the high end and ask for the low end, or sometimes it'll give you the low end and ask for the high end. Figure out. This is a super similar question to what we were just doing. So here's the picture. First of all, we need to find center to center of J, K, and L. We know that the overall rise, I'm going to highlight it red, this overall rise is 48 feet. We also know that the horizontal distance is 30. I always draw my right triangle. So here I just highlighted my right triangle. If this is 30 feet, my fittings are 45s. That tells me that this is 40 feet. So over here I'm going to make a little table center to center for J, K, L. So K we just found is 30 feet. Here comes more jets. Coronavirus, earthquakes, jets. Okay, so we can easily figure out what J is, because 30 plus J is 48. So to figure out J, I'm just going to take 48 and subtract off 30, and it's going to leave me with 18 feet. So J is 18 feet. And then L, remember, if your two sides of your right triangle are the same, you can times by the constant, which is 1.414. So I'm going to take 30 multiplied by 1.414, and this gives me 42.42 feet. So that's the center to center measurements of J, K, and L. Now we need to find the elevations of points A, B, and C. I'm going to do C with you because it's the hardest one, and then I'll let you figure out what A and B are. So elevation. We have points A, B, and C. So for C, to get to C, you first have to figure out how far do you have to go to get there. So to get to C from the base, I have to go up pipe J, which is 18 feet, and across pipe L, which is 42.42 feet. So to get to C, I have to go 18 feet plus I have to go 42.42 feet. And if I add those together, that's a total distance of 60.42 feet that I would have to travel. So this is considered to be our run. Now we're going to figure out our drop. And once we know our drop, that's what we're going to add on to this beginning elevation. That's our low point. So drop equals the grade times the run. Well, our grade is 1/8 inch per foot, so 1/8 inch per foot. Our run to get to point C is 60.42 feet. Remember that the feet will cancel each other out. So on the top, we're left with 1 inch times 60.42, which gives us 60.42 inch. And on the bottom, we're just left with 8. So 60.42 divided by 8, this gives us 7.55 inch. So what we're wanting to do is add these two numbers together. We want to add 7.55 onto 105.35 feet. So I would like to add, I'm going to go in blue over here, 105.35 feet plus 7.55 inches. The issue is we can't add these together because they're not in the same units. So if you have a construction calculator, you can, but if you don't, you're going to need to convert one of these first. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to convert this to feet. To convert inches to feet, you just divide that number by 12. So if I divide 7.55 by 12, I get 0.629. And so now what I'm really adding is 105.3 feet plus 0.629 feet. And that gives me 105.929 feet. And so this would be the elevation at point C. We've already done a couple questions like this, so I'm not going to go over this one, but yes, it is on your competency test.